Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Wednesday. It's October 30th, of course, 2024. Halloween Eve, if there is such a thing. I hope you're doing well today. I know that I kind of teased perhaps doing a moon message today, but I didn't really have time to prepare. So honestly, I think the moon is actually late on Monday, so I still got time. It'll either be tomorrow or it'll be on, not Monday, I'm sorry, Friday. It'll either be tomorrow's message, if I even come on, to be honest. I'm pretty sure I will pop in at some point, but usually I would have to do it early before we, go off to do our thing. So I don't know. I'll have to play tomorrow by ear, but I'll make it up on the back end if nothing else. So we'll see about tomorrow. We'll see what comes of the first, but it is my intention between the next couple of days to just tap into the moon energies and see what comes up. So in the meantime, you already know it's a new moon in Scorpio. It's also the Day of the Dead on the 1st. So, just govern yourselves accordingly. Keep yourself limber for change and shifts, for endings, and also new beginnings, because it still is a new moon. So either way, just be limber for, limber with the flow of the universe, in the next week or so. I would honestly say, like, definitely throughout the rest of this week, the weekend, and you may even see some of those changes unfolding throughout the next week. And we're also, I believe, already in the pre-shadow phase for Mercury retrograde, which doesn't happen until the 25th of November. I heard somebody say we're in pre-shadow, but that seems a bit early to already be in pre-shadow. So I didn't actually double check that myself. We may not actually be, because I'm almost positive that it's on the 25th of November through December. But whatever, it's on the horizon. So in any event, just another cosmic cause for pause, to think and reflect and readjust. So just go with the flow. That's the best thing you could possibly do. Like, be the flow, as a matter of fact. Doesn't mean you have to stop moving, stop grooving. It just means that however the spirit moves you internally and is guiding you, you should feel safe to trust that direction at this time. Probably the safest direction to trust, because there's so much else going on around us, so many other directions we're being pulled in or pushed in, that it's best to stay grounded internally and really check in with what your intuition, your inner self, your higher self, your supreme self, your higher mind, however you see it, the Holy Spirit, God, your angels, ancestors, way showers, guides, like however you channel supreme guidance is what you should be most tapped into. All right, so anyway, let's see. To take action, King of Wands, definitely, he's always ready, to turn up if need be, as he's aroused to or provoked to. But in the King of Wands, usually there's a maturity of purposefulness behind his drive and ambition, not just reckless abandon or being impulsive. There's usually a good cause for him to get up off the throne or to even wield his command to create, you know. So let's see what else we got. Oh, interesting. And here is that energy here. Whoa, okay. But this is the this is like the spirit of the King of Wands, I would say. You know, that drive where, like I said, it's like in his maturity, he knows when to advance and he knows when to retreat, you know, to pull back. But when he decides, though, to advance, woe unto whatever his target is, whatever is in his view, his objective, or God forbid, an enemy. You know, you definitely don't want to see the King of Wands on a good day on the battlefield and be on the opposing side. So interesting. Case in point, interestingly enough, what do we have here? As I'm saying that, but the Four of Swords, and this is like the King of Pentacles. I'm hearing all the King's men. That's a Humpty Dumpty nursery. That's the nursery rhyme. Well, it's also a movie, but I don't think I've ever actually seen the movie. But of course, it's taken from the nursery rhyme. All the King's men. Couldn't put Humpty together again. All the King's horses and all the King's men. Somebody had a fall. Somebody that was fragile. That's interesting. What is this? So this is either, again, the King of Wands setting his sights on prosperity and security, stability, or maybe some position of power. Well, he's already powerful, so even if it's that, it's like he's coming to seize something, to capture something. Because this is like him sending his best men or his horsemen or some, you know, this is like the army being dispatched to go maybe retrieve more than it is seize. Maybe it's something that he feels belongs to him. With this King of Pentacles. What's here? Oh boy. I had said that you don't want to see the King of Wands in his fierce energy on the battlefield. And here's the Ten of Swords. So I'm getting like somebody, I feel like somebody was sent a message or like a warning shot. This could even have been an olive branch. I'm seeing this different with the Knight of Wands, like to send the general out with an olive branch with an offer to surrender or cease and desist, truce, stop, something. And here was the Four of Swords. This is what I'm getting. Could have been that command again, or I'll say demand in this case, like, because you can't really command somebody to do anything as much as you can demand of them to do something, which in this case maybe someone refused, or I don't know, it's given to me like somebody pretended to surrender or pretended to be submissive to the terms of whatever the demands were, the agreement. But it's almost like between the Four of Swords and the Ten of Swords. What's between that? The Six. What's the Six? Yeah, it was like they really wanted to just stall time to get away with something or to escape, but they didn't really, maybe to shift their maneuver or change positions or something like that to like gain a better vantage point. But they really, it seems like almost like somebody fake sleeping right here. I don't know why. It's between this and this. This is definitely man down energy, the Ten of Swords. But the Four of Swords feels like somebody's either literally just sleeping or they're kind of faking. You know what I mean? Like acting like they're sleeping. Look how posed his position of so-called rest is. Nobody sleeps like that. You know, even if you put somebody to rest in the casket, you wouldn't position their hands like that. They would either be down, you know, by their side or not sticking straight up, you know what I mean? Or somebody was playing dead. Somebody was either playing dead, playing possum, I hear. Yeah, that's more like it, playing possum. So they were acting like, okay, you got it. I surrender, you know, I give up, waving the white flag, or even presenting themselves to be harmless or defenseless, but really they weren't. And this is the outcome of their either refusal to retreat or secede, or perhaps, as I said, they're repositioning to forge a counterattack or to just get away altogether. What's under? I just gotta know what's under this. Wow, the Tower. Yeah. So yeah, this is. Whatever somebody tried to do, it didn't work out in their favor. I'll say that. Like perhaps they, like with the Knight of Wands, maybe they didn't take this demand very seriously, because the King from the Knight, maybe somebody underestimated the threat to their well-being based off of the presentation of it. Like they acted like they were scared. Oh, you got me. But really, like, maybe somebody felt like they had enough money to overpower. There it is. Something about money being more powerful, at least from their perspective, than the passion and force and fierceness of the King of Wands. They may have looked at them or perceived them to kind of be in this energy here, but that was a foolish mistake, apparently, because it looks like the King of Wands ultimately blew some shit up, brought something to it, a major ending that caused a great casualty to someone, maybe multiple individuals, and forced a surrender where there was resistance. Alrighty, well, I don't know what we're talking about here, but let's get some more on the board. All right, here's the wounded warrior here. Let's get some double action for clarification. The wounded warrior, and then we got the temperance card. So it's, I don't know, like, I just feel like somebody was up against something, a force to be reckoned with. Well, in this case, not to be reckoned with. Again, it just feels like somebody underestimated their opponent, or their resistance, whatever this is, their enemy, whatever. And it seemed like it was just a mere man, you know. Again, it's like somebody that has a whole bunch of money and power and position, a great deal of access, you know. They may own their own business or be some high level of, have some type of high level position in a corporation or something where their money is their power, ultimately. In this 3D world, that is considered to be superior to pretty much everything, you know, except when it isn't. And that when is actually now, where those that have a great deal of power and access and authority and even possessions are finding all of that stuff to be fleeting, or just kind of filtering through their fingertips at this point, and they're having to actually rely on character and merit, you know, truth, their actual identity, of which many of them have exchanged for goods and material gain and fortune. So when someone looks at a Knight of Wands as a potential opponent, or a King of Wands, and they see them as a Knight of Wands, like really, you know, no threat whatsoever, this could be someone that doesn't necessarily have the access or money or tangible fortune that they have. And so therefore they disregarded the command, you know, or the demand, except for the fact that whatever this is, it's been ordained from a higher, it seems like it is a command of a higher ordinance here, that someone was honestly being given the privilege of an extension, like almost a warning shot, you know, like this is a messenger in the physical form that someone just like brushed off, like, what they played possum, like they were going to comply, but really they probably never had any intentions to, and ultimately didn't adhere to the warning, not knowing that this wasn't just a mere mortal or even a king, but this is a divine messenger coming on behalf of a spiritual ordinance to relay, well, really to extend a grace to someone to kind of quit while they're already behind, in this case. And where they thought they were disregarding just the man, they actually were resisting the divine, which may have put them in a line. That could be the reason for the Tower, the Ten of Swords, the Four of Swords. It's like, if you didn't receive it when it came to you, this could even be like a prophet or a prophecy, or it doesn't have to be that, I don't know how to say it, like that mystical, I guess. But it seems like something, I mean, this is definitely an emphasis on power. It's just that the power that was projected was not respected. And it transferred more as a slap in the face of God, per se, to put it plainly, than it actually was a slap in the face of whomever they thought they were standing against or standing in front of. And that's the reason for such, like, the drastic backlash. The Six of Cups. Something of the past. Somebody had the opportunity to reform the past, maybe to heal from past trauma or past cycle, for the sake of balancing that karmic energy, that scale, to do something different or to create a new experience. It's like somebody was faced with an opportunity to close a cycle that has ultimately kept them in this state of limitation. Because that's what the King of Pentacles is giving. No matter what he may have gained physically and materially, there has to be some type of limitation within him energetically, not to be able to heed a word of the divine when they hear it, or to just be able to kind of see handwriting on the wall when it's very clear. So much so that you would still position yourself to be an enemy of celestial order. Like, that's foolishness, you know? Like, it's not sound. But there could have been some wounding, perhaps at a child's level, but something that has been recycled continuously through seasons of someone's life, or perhaps in past lifetimes, as the card itself projects, where someone's always been being given this opportunity to kind of shift their perspective and, you know, extended an invitation to do something different, to put something to a close and have a fresh existence. And it seems like over and over they still continue to choose the tangibility, the immediate gratification, the accolades, the fleeting things. You know, even in partnerships or relationships, they always choose wrong. I feel like that's what the Knight of Wands is, like somebody's choices along multiple lifetimes or multiple timelines, or even just, you know, seasons in their life, where this reoccurring theme of choosing balance and harmony and peace and purity is always offered to them. You know, in this case, on a damn silver platter. Anytime you have the Temperance, that's an angelic encounter. You know, if that can't get no more of a warning shot than Jesus, you know, himself coming to knock on your door. You know what I mean? Like, where you have an encounter that's so serendipitous that you know it has to be something beyond the 3D or the material world exclusively. And you still say, nah, I'm gonna hold on to this coin I got, or I'm gonna hold on to this power I've accumulated, or this position I'm sitting in, or, You know, you choose to fight for something else. That's what the Wounded Warrior is like. He chose to fight tooth and nail for something else that was far more fleeting than than the energy it would have required for him to just really submit to the divine, you know, and reclaim his soul energy first and foremost. That would have led to a closing cycle of this wounding. The insecurity, you know, it's like the root of the wounding that causes, that incites us to cling to the material world, you know, for security and stability and status, and self-esteem. Sometimes it's much harder to release that coin without any guarantee otherwise than it is to look forward to something that, you know, is intangible and also has no guarantee, you know. But that's the test of the human experience as a spiritual being, creating that balance and finding a way to live in that duality peacefully. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, somebody chose their obsessions, their possessions, their entanglements, their fears. It's like somebody fought for their fears instead of fighting against them. Somebody fought to, like that coin is almost like somebody holding on to dear life for all the things that's killing them. Holding on to a job you hate, a position that you're not even, I almost said like not even good at, but maybe just not even so productive in, or at least it's not fulfilling, let's say that much. Holding on to friends that don't really like you, holding on to relationships that don't support you or appreciate you at your best, holding on to material things that got you drowning in debt to keep up with the car, the house, the trips, the clothes, you know, things like that. Like every appearances, you know, like holding on to the appearance of affluence and the perception of it more than the actual spirit of it. Let's see, what's with the devil? Wow, here's a 10 of Cups. Yeah, that's where they found their fulfillment. That's wow. Even holding on to family or associations, perhaps, that they feel project a certain status or image, or even that could at some points or did at some points prove to be beneficial, maybe even fun. You know, with the 10 of Cups, it could have been some, you know, some aspect of fun and enjoyment in their associations at a time. But with the devil, there's always like the hint of something that is just not healthy about it, not pure. So it's like fun while it lasts, or it's fun on the surface, but like I said, all those other things that are great, you know, at face value, but at the core of it, it doesn't really align with your total fulfillment, your pure fulfillment, the thing that truly does last the test of time. Definitely emphasis on some type of dark associations, though, with the devil and the 10 of Cups. Somebody, you know, definitely was entangled with let's see what's on the bottom. Ooh, the Emperor. Dang, they not only entangled, they were the patriarch of of the association, or the family, or the soul tribe, or this could have been somebody literally that, I mean, it's not the Hierophant, which would definitely give way to what I'm about to say, but this could be somebody that just was intermixed in some type of like cult-like culture, whether it was, you know, as primitive, although arguably not so, as just kind of worshiping money or wealth, abundance, privilege, fortune, fame. You know, there's some type of herd-like mentality about this collective that, again, someone found themselves or maybe had advanced themselves in some way to the top of a pyramid of, which also lended to their ego about their own personal resilience or invincibility in this case, not just resilience, like invincibility, like you can't see me, you know who I am type of energy. And they had enough of a cult following or enough camaraderie that was more or less invested on the same page with their agenda to also support that false sense of security. But when it comes down to it, it's like, it doesn't really matter what you have acquired or built up in the 3D, because like I said, you weren't just answering to the King of Wands or the Knight of Wands, however you chose to revere him or not. You were answering to the divine. And there's nothing in the 3D world that can cancel that communication once it's decreed. It's like once there is an angelic force encounter or a word of life or prophecy or warning or whatever it is that is released to you, you should consider yourself graceful for the heads up, because what do they say? Warning comes before destruction. And we've already seen the Tower, the 10 of Swords, the 4 of Swords. So I don't know where we are. This could be warning, but I honestly feel like, especially given the 6 of Cups came up, this is what somebody did not heed to, and that is why we saw those destructive cards, because the danger has already caught up with someone, or the threat. Let's see, what's this peeking at me? I just gotta say, wow, 8 of Swords. Yeah, that's jail, or spiritual jail, spiritual imprisonment. So somebody is literally falling from the grace of being the most powerful man in whatever field or whatever capacity that they idolize. They were at the top. you know, or at least on their way. But it feels like somebody that was quite accomplished in terms of power. And now they're seeing themselves not being so invincible after all. Like, this is somebody that thought they were beyond jail time, beyond reproach, beyond persecution, prosecution, above the law, perhaps even, certainly above, you know, what do they call it? Like citizens law, where like you coming to me telling me what, who are you? Like, you don't even, and it's definitely given egotistical, because this is still a king, just as the King of Pentacles is a king, but this is someone who had a really inflated ego, that this is what they really saw themselves as. Maybe on account of their money and access and everything, but it's given that that's not what's on the board. So that's not even what the true identity of someone actually was. It's just what they exalted themselves to be, or how they surrounded themselves to be exalted. So that somebody didn't even really have the leverage and the influence that they thought they did. It was more or less a facade or mirage, or just, you know, visions of grandeur or whatever. So hence why they missed the warning when it was delivered, because they saw themselves too grand, you know, to need to comply. Yeah, and here's the Six of Pentacles. Someone that, you know, more or less is taking liberty with resources. Like, they're in a position to be able to dictate who gets what and when and how and where. They don't take orders, they give them. The Strength card, yeah. A lot of ego here, a lot of arrogance, a lot of bravado. And it also speaks to them having a loyal following. That's what really kept someone going. Because this is all speaking to loyalty. And then with the Six of Pentacles, like, they had people almost like groveling at their feet, you know, living off of their every word, their every whim. And in this case, maybe even afraid of what could happen if they didn't comply or fall in line. That definitely added to the balloon effect of someone's ego, because they had so many people that, you know, really revered their power to be supreme and superior. Wow, the High Priestess. Secretly. Yeah, that definitely is giving some type of like secret society. And the funny thing is, it's like, it's not coming up as the Hierophant. Why? I think because of the nature of it being so much of an illusion and a facade, that on sight you would never know this is what's going on. Like, it just looks like a family, or looks like, you know, a group of friends that just you know, like the cool kids type of energy, or it looks like a fraternity or sorority that is legitimate on the outside. Or it could even look like a group of investors or business, you know, colleagues or something like that, like some type of investment club, or just a group of, you know, like billion-dollar boys, maybe girls too, but, you know, generally speaking, that all share the common thread of wealth, you know, one to another. And maybe they come together and advance things, I don't know, but it seems like whatever it is that they got going on behind the scenes, it's like you would never ever even consider how dark it could be, or how heinous it might be. And it's buried under privilege, under money, under power. They just kind of throw money around or throw their weight around on things, their influence around on anyone that would get out of line and present themselves to be a threat to them, which they would have done aggressively to this King of Wands, Knight of Wands energy, except there's some hint of fear here or intimidation. It's like somebody was intimidated enough by the potential of the threat from the King of Wands, the power and that fierceness, but they still thought that they had enough money and influence to resist it, which is why they, you know, the fear is what made them kind of like coil back and pretend like, all right, I got you, or act like they were going to get right and reform. But at the core, especially with the devil here, it's like there is no self-control. Somebody is completely saturated in their temptations at this point. And they have so many enablers or so many influences that help to sustain that, you know, or to support it. They were virtually doomed from the start. But with the High Priestess here, it's like there's something even more secretive and mystical going on at the core of it all that would pretty much blow anybody's mind to discover. But here's somebody now protecting their energy from the Queen of Cups. From intuition. Protecting themselves from being exposed through intuitive Now this is like the through spiritual messengers. Okay, so that's why I was picking that up. Okay, so somebody came to someone and I said an olive branch. Think about the implication of that religiously. And I said something about a prophecy or a word of life or, you know, warning. That's why somebody kind of like, whatever. It's like the nature of it they couldn't deny, because there's something about a word of truth. It ignites your soul. You know, you can deny it, you know, you can resist it, but usually you can't deny it, not at the core of you. So the way somebody came in the form that they did at one particular time, like I said, it's like somebody heard it, but they didn't really heed it. They acted like they did, but they didn't. And so all this time, so much time has passed where they could just continue, you know, to keep on. Maybe this came earlier before it got so bad, you know, before things really spiraled down into the depths of darkness the way that they did. You know, someone was extended grace to kind of back off, clean up their act, repent, reform, but they didn't. They just went deeper into the dark. Now that they're being stripped down, those secrets are potentially being exposed or on the way to such, because everything's kind of imploding from the inside. That Ten of Swords it could even be the betrayal of those that they more or less thought they had the allegiance of and the loyalty of, now distancing themselves or turning on them. So it's like somebody's kind of out here lonely on the limb, and they're also afraid of the realization now here. This is what I feel the Queen of Cups represents, like this materialization of the word that they rejected once upon a time. So it's like the word coming to life. And that's what they're now trying to fight against the reality of, or just energetically protecting themselves, maybe even just being resistant to that realization one way or another. What's on the bottom? Yes, the Seven of Swords, and the Empress, damn, and the Sun, yeah, and the exposure, as I said. There's the Empress and the High Priestess and the Strength card, and now we got the Queen of Cups. Somebody could have definitely been on something diabolical as far as women are concerned, which is definitely a no-no in this season or in any other that you are going to have to answer for. But it's something here, yeah, and that's the only energy that's visible here in the Devil card is the female force. Again, I said about balance and the Six of Cups, recreating a karmic cycle in relationships. So not only just aligning yourself with the wrong frequencies, but even, you know, how someone acted out against the opposite sex or against even the feminine force within him. And this is somebody trying to protect or even resist the karmic retribution that was declared way back when they would have had the grace to relieve themselves and truly protect themselves and see themselves into the space of healing and liberation. No, they were still trying to create corruption against feminine force, or just create corruption in general, no matter, you know, what force. But there's something here definitely about that, because the Queen of Cups is an energy that doesn't, you know, it's harmless, really. It's peaceful, it's loving. So why does somebody feel like they have to be so resistant and guarded, and it's almost giving paranoid against the Queen of Cups, like somebody resisting love or intimacy or nurturing. Could have some sociopathic issues that stem from childhood, you know, mother wounding, or, you know, some type of betrayal at a vulnerable age. Whatever it is, it's like, it's nobody else's problem. And certainly, you know, nobody else's trauma to bear on account of their lack of healing, their own inflictions, which is why the grace was extended to find the balance and recovery for those afflictions before they ended up being self-destructive. But like I said, somebody went deeper into the dark and resisted that invitation altogether. Offensively, so it seems. Here's the Star card. There's the healing. It was always available. But somebody wasn't always emotionally available to receive it. I'm not too sure they are now. Certainly not voluntarily. It might be circumstantial or by force of the circumstances, but I can't even say that for sure yet. Let me see what's with the Star card. No. Yeah, it's circumstantial with the Nine of Swords, like somebody's paranoid. Again, what I say about that word coming to life in their life, they're feeling haunted. First of all, by the word that was spoken to them back when they had the liberty to receive it. And it's like somebody's trapped in this loop of thinking about the past, pining over the present, and being anxious about the future, because they know they can't go back and reclaim the time from the past, you know, based off of what decisions they made. And they know that that's has all the reason to do with why things seem to be falling apart or very shaky with that Tower card, Ten of Swords, why everything seems to just kind of be faltering in the present. And they also don't know what of it can be, what relief they can glean in the present that will secure any hopefulness in the future. It's like somebody feels distraught, all on account of the fact, like what really keeps playing in their mind is the warning that they had at a time when, you know, for as far as they're concerned, they may have had more opportunity to protect themselves or to do something different, which is not really a healthy place to be, because it's still regressing to the past. You can't do anything about that at this point, but it's keeping someone from really being able to materialize a positive outlook for the future because of that loop. So they're clinging to that Six of Cups, you know, clinging to their temptations, their addictions, their obsessions, is ultimately what has secured it in place yet again for yet another season. And what they're experiencing could perhaps be what they've been experiencing in some way, shape, or form every lifetime, but it's more intensified now because there's supposed to be a culmination of cycles in this season. No longer loop-de-loop, you know, on the infinite loop of recycling trauma, recycling karma. And there was supposed to be an outlet from that regeneration onto something new. And the way that it presented itself to someone was in, I guess, in a fashion that didn't seem, that wasn't, it's probably more about the security and the certainty and guarantee of it all to a King of Pentacles. Like, that ain't gonna make me money, you know, like retrieving my soul, self-love, you know, healing. I ain't got time for that. It's all about money and power and prestige. And if that can't get me that guaranteed, then I'm cool. But now that someone is kind of, you know, finding themselves at a rock bottom state is when they realize that it would have been better to take that risk and that chance than to gamble everything on the same old cycle again. The best chance they could have taken was to evolve. Queen of Wands. And then the Knight of Swords. What was that? Wow, the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, somebody wants to get back, but what's in the middle of that retreat now is all of the things that they have to, all of the debt they have to fulfill. This is the karmic debt that they have to repay. It literally could be somebody now caught up in a relationship that, again, is killing them softly, where they always feel like they're working against themselves to advance, or working backwards, or they take 2 steps forward and 5 steps back type of energy. But somebody mentally, you know, would want to be able to imagine now with the Knight of Wands to the Knight of Swords, they would want to reclaim that opportunity to shift and to change. But now there's too much to manage in between, and they don't even have like the support system, the resources, the favor, literally the fortune, the good fortune to do so, to match the same energy of which they would desire to have it happen. It's like somebody was able to get rich fairly fast with this level of ambition, but through all of, I mean, it wasn't, I can't say it's fast, but they had a fierce ambition to gain wealth and materials, and they did that, you know. But to retrieve something such as your soul and to repair yourself at a soul level and you know, from in your heart space, and establish yourself in some new fertile and, you know, fertily creative way. Here is what the Queen of Wands is representing, like someone that's fresh with ideas again and inspiration, and, you know, can deliver creativity to its full capacity, you know, even be receptive, like to transmit creative ideas. It's like somebody has way too many distractions in between them and that at this point, where all the energy and time that they took to get to this status here at the King of Pentacles was fine time wasted on things that ultimately were fleeting. They had all the energy in the world, they had all the time in the world, just like we all did and we all do, and even the grace to do so. But what they did with it has put them in the position where they are now, that to now reclaim that moment is virtually impossible to do so. even to move forward at this time, you wouldn't be able to do it by the ways that you had the opportunity to before. It would have to be something completely new, completely fresh, and in this case, foreign to someone's sensibility, because it's not what they've cultivated of themselves to pursue, you know, or to be. So it's tough. And this, I mean, I'm saying it as if it's one person, but it's a lot of people that are getting a rude awakening about what really matters in life and how it looks so very different than what they've been chasing all this time. And it does hurt. It would keep you up at night and make you sick to consider, like, all that time I could have been, like, what someone achieved is what someone ultimately could have been at this point, just in a different way, by different means, with different choices, and on a more pure path. So to consider you had all that you desired to have, and it was illusionary, so you don't get to keep it, or it's always in jeopardy of being taken, and you still have to put in more work. Like, at this point, somebody's expecting to be able to kick back, retire, put their feet up, and enjoy their money. And it's like, now somebody, you know, some people have to literally start from scratch all over again and hope to get to where they were. Because now there's absolutely no guarantee, because the stakes are so much higher and the obstacles are far more difficult, especially when you weren't building the character to face them with resilience, because you thought you were too invincible to have to face anything, you know? It's unfortunate, but it's just the karmic order of life, I suppose, the balance of life. It's fair, it's divinely fair, you know, but all things considered, you wouldn't really want your worst enemy to go through the type of anguish that some people are feeling now on account of their choices. Not really, because that also adds to the force field that we're all sharing. And until there is a total disconnect or severance of those fields, if that's ever the case to be, that means somehow, some way, somewhere, someone's despair could still have a slight effect on you, with your best protection and your greatest intentions for security, just it being in the ethers and on the consciousness grid, you know, which is the part that really sucks for everybody, because we could be all breathing the same blissful air at this point in time, except some people just insisted to have it now, right now. Don't pay me later, pay me now. And now they're virtually bankrupt in spirit and in truth. So, you know. Anyway, it was kind of weird for me. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's just the energy of the time right now, but take with what from it that resonates. Take of it what you will, as it resonates, and certainly leave the rest. You know, all you can do, honestly, is just continue to look forward to the best case scenario for you and yours. As I said yesterday, you know, still maintaining a certain distance of indifference, even though this has come up and things come up. It's like, what do you want from me? To feel sorry? You know, I do think it's unfortunate, you know, again, because as I said, it spills out into the ethers for everyone now to have to manage in some way, shape, or form. I think perhaps we're transitioning to a time where there is no effect. And I think that would be fair, because why should we have to deal with those effects of which we didn't contribute to creating, you know? But I don't know if it gets to work like that. So that's the only thing that makes me feel a certain type of way, is how others may have to deal with it in their sheer innocence. But, you know, when it comes down to it, we all had the same opportunities and invitations and grace to choose wisely. And the choices were never easy on either side. So the degree of difficulty was not that different. It really, really wasn't. So if you decided that one way was best for you and have come to the point where now you realize it wasn't, there's nothing you can do but pick yourself up and move forward. My thing is, don't still try to make it everybody else's problem, because that's really where I have no empathy. That's where my empathy completely is depleted, on those that are still trying to create casualties of others, or make others, you know, create a way out of no way on someone else's expense. No, that's done. You got to get it how you live, just like everybody else did and everybody else does, on your own merit. And ain't nobody gonna coddle you and baby you to that destination of destiny anymore. You're on your own, more or less. But anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, I'll leave you with peace.